Hello, so welcome to this special presentation on the 4 traits of every influential person on social media. This video presentation should take about an hour, so I would advise that you block out that amount of time so you can fully concentrate and so that you can get maximum value for the time that you're going to be spending with me watching this presentation. Alright, so let's get started real quick. Okay, so my name is Brother Dakpo. That's what I'm popularly called on social media. I am an online marketer, and I'm very passionate about anything that has to do with communication, persuasive communication, influencing of people, and everything that has to do with that. So I know that your time is very, very precious, and I do not intend to waste it delivering fluff, and that's why I'm going to be as fast as possible in dishing out the information that you are spending your time on in this video. So one thing I wish that I did early on in my sojourn online is that I wish that I had deliberately, consistently built a big audience early before I needed to ask them for anything or sell them anything. I've been online since like 2009. I think in 2018 or 2017 thereabout was when I began to be, quite deliberate about my activities online. But I was not consistent in doing the things that would actually help me grow the type of audience that I wanted or that I needed in order to be able to eventually leverage on later, maybe when I needed to make a request or when I needed to sell them something. So it was, my results were kind of staccato. It was like rain today, or more like abundance today, famine tomorrow kind of thing. And I put it up because I don't want you to make that kind of mistake. Probably now is the time when you need to begin to decide that you want to be deliberate about what you are doing online. So don't be like me on that. Okay, so there are majorly 5 powerful whys you need to start building your social influence early. You may have heard this quote before. I can't exactly remember. I know it's from a book, but I can't exactly remember the name of the book right now. But the statement is that you should dig your wells before you need the water. When it comes to human relationships, when it comes to getting things from people, when it comes to influencing people to do something for you, you want to have built that relationship before you will need it at all. It is not when you now have need for it that you begin to now try to ask people to do something for you or something, or maybe you're trying to sell them something or not. That you must have been in their faces way early before then. They must have learned to know you. They must have, seen some of the things you can do. They must have derived some value from you in order for them to be able to respond appropriately to whatever request or whatever message you are pushing out to them later. So we're going to look at those 5 reasons very quickly. And the first reason is lots of free sales. Now, I have always been a huge fan of paid traffic. I didn't really used to pay much attention to free traffic until I had an issue where there was a campaign I wanted to launch and I did not have enough money for Facebook ads. And as a matter of fact, it is pointless running Facebook ads if you do not have the right amount of budget to at least start out with. And I didn't have that at that time. And it was then that it dawned on me that yes, free traffic may not be the fastest to build. It may not be the quickest to build. But when you have it, you can always leverage on it to make sales. And when we're talking about traffic, we're talking about people. That's basically what traffic means. You can always leverage on the free traffic channels that you have built over time, that you have built a relationship with, that knows you, that trusts you, that respects you, in order to be able to make a lot of sales without spending a dime on traffic. So I have this say that, yeah, free traffic is good. Paid traffic is better, or should I say faster, but Both free traffic and paid traffic is best. I'll take that again. Free traffic is good. Paid traffic is faster. Both are best. There is absolutely nothing wrong with you making a good amount of money from your social media page, from your Facebook account or your Instagram account, without having to spend anything on ads. Now, a ready audience basically means that you wouldn't need to depend fully on ads to get sales. You take less time to make good amount of sales to an audience that already knows you and is emotionally connected to you. Now, I want to quickly show you an example of something my coach did on his birthday. So now take a look at this. This is a birthday offer that my coach, the person who showed me the way in internet marketing, who trained me in internet marketing, he made this offer on the 10th of March at 8:17. It was his birthday. He hit 30 at that time. Now his goal was to raise 1 million naira before 12 midnight on that same day. So he made a very, very compelling offer to his audience on Facebook. No ads, nothing, just his audience on Facebook. And he went into the details of the offer, the gold plan, the diamond plan, the platinum plan, and all that. By the way, this offer was exceedingly a no-brainer offer. My coach is, when it comes to offers, he is exceedingly extraordinary at it. Now, his goal was to raise 1 million naira. Now, take note, this was on the 10th of March. Now, let's see the result. Let's even check out the comments. Maybe we should check out the comments of some of his audiences. Okay, so 66 people reacted to the post, and you can see it here. A lot of people saying happy birthday and all that stuff and everything. So you have all these comments on that. All right, so now let's take a look at the next, what happened just a couple of hours after that. Okay, now, so this is 48 hours later, and he's giving the update of what has happened. So how much revenue came through yesterday's offer? Take a guess. So what was your guess? Anyways, let me tell you straight up. 545,000 naira from an offer made on Facebook alone. You can see the reaction of people. This was done without running any ads. Just his Facebook profile, and he brought in half the amount of what he was originally going for without running ads. So you can imagine what would happen if he eventually decided to maybe send a message to his email list. By the way, he has a sizable email list, or he decided to run ads to this particular offer to people who already know him. So you can imagine what would have happened. So that is to give you for context. So that's one of the benefits you have when you have an audience that you have built over time, that knows you, that likes you, and that trusts you. You don't have to spend a dime on ads to get good amount of sales. All right, so let's move to the next one. Now, the second reason you want to start building your audience online early is more visibility to powerful people. Being able to get seen by the movers and shakers can help change your career overnight. I've seen situations where people who just simply knew somebody who was powerful enough literally dramatically changed their fortune. I know the case of a guy who did not have a job just a couple of days before, and because he reached out, or someone saw his post on Facebook and that person took up that post and made a post about it, this guy got an insane amount of offers from different companies. Now, if you are not active on social media, if you don't have a sizable audience, if you don't have an audience that differs to you, that is responsive to you, when it's time comes for you to actually, when you need some powerful moves to get certain things done, you will not have anything to leverage on. Now, I look at this image. These are the Ikorodu boys. You may know them on Twitter very well. They are known for making parody versions, or like comic versions of blockbuster movies. Now, these guys have been on Twitter for quite a while. They've been doing it for a long time. They've been garnering, viewership. They've been garnering followership on Twitter for a while. Now, a time came, the breaking point came when they did the parody of Extraction Extraction. Extraction is a movie by Chris Hemsworth, very popular action movie. They did a parody of this movie, and that parody launched them into global consciousness. Actors, actresses, people could not believe their eyes that boys that were living in Ikorodu, Nigeria, could be so creative as to take what they had access to in their immediate environment to create a parody that was so realistic, that was so close to the original. They got support from Netflix. They've met with Femi Otedola because of all these things they've done. They've received support from celebrities, both Nigerian and abroad, and all that. They got an entire package from Netflix. Now imagine if these guys were not on social media. Imagine if they were not building an audience on social media. Imagine what would have happened to them, even if they were creating those videos and maybe just putting them somewhere. So that's another reason you want to be building your audience deliberately. So we're not just talking about being on social media here. We're talking about being focused and building an audience, not just an audience, a big audience that respects you, that defers to you, that's responsive to you. All right, so let's go on. Now, another reason, third reason, is ambassadorial opportunities. Now, you may be thinking, I don't want to be an ambassador, or maybe you're even scared of being big or being well known. Well, maybe unless you hate money, maybe you don't like money. Perhaps you need to ask some influencers on Facebook, on Instagram, exactly how much brands pay them. Some of them didn't even set out to be influencers or to be brand ambassadors. It just so happened that because they had a very big audience that was so responsive to their activities, brands began to approach them. That's the case of somebody like Emeka Nobis. Emeka Nobis is a book author, is a book marketing expert. He's written a couple of books that have done tens of millions of naira in sales. Amen to the dollars. And he was, he eventually became an ambassador for Warrital Publishing. Warrital Publishing is a book publishing house in Lagos. Now, he was also an ambassador for Bamboo Real Estate. That is just some of the benefits that comes when you have an audience that is large and that is responsive. The same thing with Olumide Gloville. Olumide Gloville is my friend on Facebook. Both of these guys are my friends on Facebook. And Olumide is followed by 17,000 people on Facebook. Olumide is, apart from the fact that he is paid a lot of money by different brands to promote them, probably does an average of 2 ads per week. Now that is consistent revenue. Of course, in the case of Instagram, you know cases of people like maybe Taoma, or Maraji, or all this Oyemaiki and all the rest of these guys. So if you have a large audience that is responsive, brands will approach you even if that was not your original intention. Brands will approach you because they want to tap into the goodwill, they want to tap into the relationship, into the respect that these people have for you. So that's that. And then number 4, it gives you more power to help people that matter to you. Now, there is no point in being a good person if you don't have power. You can't really do much. And I think it's heartbreaking when people know that you're a good person and they come to you for help, but you can't help them because you are small, or because nobody knows you online. It's heartbreaking. I've been in situations like this several times, and I vowed never to allow it happen to me again. It may not be the primary reason why I'm building an audience, but I think it's a very, very beautiful thing when somebody who is in dire need of help comes to you, and you can simply make a post or a post. And in a couple of hours or days, these people already have what they need. We need more people like this in the world. The world is a broken place. There will always be problems around. People will always find themselves in situations. Now think about it. If you were in a situation where you had dire need, emergencies that you didn't plan for, maybe something just came out of the blues. Like there was the case of a lady on Facebook, one of my friends in the US, who had a fire outbreak in their house and everything got burnt. Now these guys are well to do. They are doing very well. They are comfortable. but nobody expected a fire situation that would destroy literally everything they have. So we can find ourselves in situations that we honestly totally did not expect. When that kind of situation comes up, you would need someone who is powerful enough to help pull you out of that situation. Now imagine if everybody was playing a small game. If everybody just had a few friends on Facebook and they just had a few likes and a few tiny, and you're just hiding your head all over the place and you don't want anyone to know you because you are an introvert or whatever the excuses you are giving, who would you run to help you in that situation? Some people think it makes sense or it sounds nice to the ears when they say that they don't have friends, like they don't have a lot of friends. They think it's a virtue. The day you have serious issues and you need help, then you will know the importance of actually having maybe not friends in your inner circle, but having enough people that you can influence to help get you out of that situation. So that's that. I should tell you this story. In February 2020, I have a friend who is a sickle cell patient. I've not mentioned her name for privacy reasons. And her situation had gotten so bad that her leg was beginning to like decompose. The legs were storing pus, a lot of pus in it. The muscles were breaking up. It was like a decaying process. She came to me, and I've known about the issue for a while. I've been trying to support her in my own way and all that, but the help was not enough, and the family could not really do much. Her father is late, and the mom she's saddled with everything, and she's tired. And she came to me, and at that time I was extremely broke. I couldn't do anything, and I thought, what could I do? I was desperate for help. And the only thing I had at that time was my social media presence. I got to work and I wrote a message. I wrote a post that explained in details what this lady was going through. And as at that time we had nothing. I also got in connection with some of the influencers, some of them that you actually see here. Lumide was one of those who helped back then. And I explained to them what was going on. I showed them the idea, and they helped. They took it up. In 1 week, we went from having nothing in the account to raising 388,000 naira to help this lady. The comfort and the peace that she had not felt in a long time, because she's been a sickle cell patient since she was 8 years old. She smiled. She was happy. I felt fulfilled within me. As a matter of fact, that's one of the best advertisements I've written in my life. By the way, if you don't think that fundraising for charity is marketing, maybe you need to dump that idea. You need to apply the rules of sales. You need to apply the rules of marketing in getting people to do things, even for charity reasons. So we did that, and 90 people also signed up to help her get out of that situation. They signed up to support her monthly and all that. That is the power of having social influence in the right hand. You'll be able to help people. You'll be able to participate in causes that wouldn't have gone far ordinarily, will go very far because of your influence. So that's the fourth reason. And then the last one is you have more power to fight injustice against you or against other people that we care about. See, there's a lot going on in the world that we're not hearing about just because the people who are the victims are not able to, they have no voice. They can't speak out. Nobody knows them. So I want to use the case of the EndSARS protest in Nigeria as an example. You probably know about it, and you know that Mr. Macaroni, at least if you don't know these other two ladies, you know that Mr. Macaroni was a major face in the EndSARS protest. Now, recently, when the government didn't meet the demands and they tried to do the protest again, and they went to the Lekki toll gate because no answers have been given about who killed the people at the Lekki toll gate protest. Mr. Macaroni came and he was arrested. And the state government had plans on the things that they were going to do. When we heard some of the stories later, there was a lot going on in the corridors of tyranny. But because Mr. Macaroni was known, there was massive public outrage against how he was being treated. We saw the videos of him, being put in a bus like a common criminal, sardined in a bus with other people. It was the public outrage because he is a well-known comedian that got him out of that situation. Now, Mochivius, the lady on the left-hand side, had her international passport seized when she wanted to travel out of Nigeria to the Maldives for her birthday. She was very, very active during the entire process. She was one of those who were, sending lawyers all around the states to get people who were innocent people who were arrested and to be prosecuted for doing nothing just because they protested. And she was one of the lawyers who was doing pro bono service. Now, Mochivius is very influential on Twitter. Imagine if Mochivius had not been influential. Her passport that was seized because she participated in the protest. She was being labeled a terrorist by the Nigerian government. It took an entire village to get her passport back. Now imagine if Mochivius was like any other regular person, unknown person in Nigeria. The same thing with FK Abudu. FK Abudu is also very popular. She's one of the main leaders of the feminist coven. The feminist coven was able to raise millions of naira to help, feeding, to help provision of water, to help provision of medical care, things that the Nigerian government is unable to do in years. These people were able to achieve it in months. Not even months, weeks. Because they had that influence. A lot of people got help. People who were suffering got relieved. People who needed surgeries had their surgeries done just because someone with enough power was decided to step into the situation. So if there are no other reasons, these 5 reasons are why you want to start building your audience as soon as you want to start building your social influence, and you want to start building your audience as soon as possible, and not waiting until occasion calls for it. Then you begin to raise your hands up and say that there is nothing you can do, or you wish there was something you could do, or wishing that somebody will come and save you or something like that. All right, so let's go on. So first I need to offer you an important disclaimer. This is very, very important, because usually when people come across things like this, anything that has to do with becoming a better person or making more money or getting more influence, people want to think that it is overnight. These things are not overnight. Everybody loves results, by the way. Everybody loves results. I mean, who doesn't want to post and you get 2.7k likes on your post, or you make a post and you're getting 960 reactions and 160 comments, or 1.2k reactions and 304 comments. Everybody loves stuff like this. By the way, these are screenshots of some of the people, some of my friends whom I have in this slide. You see a couple of their faces. You've seen some already, you see more. All right, so everybody loves results. However, most people do not love the process. Very few people love the work that is to be done in order to get the results that they seek. It's always why people keep jumping from courses to courses, from one program, because they are always looking for an easy way out, trying to find a way to cut the process, to short circuit the process, to avoid the process. It's not going to happen like that. If you want to get influence that you need, if you want to become powerful online, if you want to become influential, you have to be committed to the process, and you'll see that in a few minutes. All right, so I also need to tell you that your expectations must be matched by your commitment. A lot of us tend to have elephant expectations and we have ant-like commitment. We want big results, but we don't want massive efforts. It doesn't happen that way. So these disclaimers are very, very important for me to say to you. All right, so I need to let you know that every result that you seek online starts with an attractive, efficient you. Burn this into your mind. Every result, whether it is more sales, whether it is more visibility, whether it is more engagement, whether it's more authority, more respect, more whatever it is you seek, it starts with an attractive, efficient you. I specifically carefully chose these adjectives to be able to communicate the right picture. If people come to your profile, or if people come to your social domain and you don't look like an attractive proposition to them, they're going to go away and go to the next thing. So you see some people on Facebook or Instagram, they don't have pictures, they don't even have their display picture. You don't even take yourself seriously enough to have a profile picture. Then you expect people to actually take you seriously or want to communicate with you. It doesn't happen that way. So you need to remember this. This is where everything starts out. An attractive, efficient you. All right, so let's go on. Okay, so what are the 4 traits of every influential person online? Number 1, they have a clear, sharp sense of purpose online. Now, this is my friend Osaremi Okonoboy. She's very influential on Facebook. She basically curates gist content. So she goes all around Twitter, Facebook, Instagram to get newsworthy gist content, and she posts them. So when we hear the word Osareme, all we know about her, I hope I pronounced that name correctly. I hope she doesn't hear this actually. Is gist. I'm going to show you a few of her content. So she knows exactly what she is on the internet to do. So she's not everywhere. She's not posting this today and posting that tomorrow and this other one the next day or stuff like that. All right, so I'm waiting for this connection to load. Okay, so this is one of our posts. This is obviously a Twitter screenshot, and then when you read it, it's funny and all that stuff. The ideal nanny, someone is looking for a nanny, house manager in Lagos. The ideal nanny would be great at multitasking, blah 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 blah. And then you scroll down and you look at the reactions. 473 reactions, 100 comments. This is what she does every time, and this is another example of her content, which is also a screenshot from let's allow the page load. All right, so this is obviously from Twitter also. Okay, you deleted the pictures you took or followed him. This is a funny gist post, and all that. So when we go to Osareme's page, we're either looking for gist or we're looking for entertaining posts, and that's what we get every single time. See this 599 reactions, 135 comments. Now tell me if she wants to sell something tomorrow. There are enough people in her audience who are going to at least pay some attention to what she is trying to sell, provided that she communicates properly, and will buy. She already has that audience. All right, so let's go on. So like I said, they know exactly why they are online, and their communications reflect around that purpose and identity. They are not here today, there tomorrow, talking about politics today, talking about sports tomorrow, next thing talking about science, next thing they're talking about art and literature, they're talking about... No, the communication is focused. Yeah, you might want to occasionally branch into some other things sometimes, but 80% of your communication revolves around your main purpose online. So that's that. Let's move to the next thing. Second thing is they have a deep understanding of their target audience. Emeka Nobis is a very, very good example of this. Now, every single product that Emeka Nobis has created, books, programs, courses, are always home runs. They are always winners because Emeka Nobis understands his audience. He understands his audience. I'm going to show you an example. Let's see this. All right, so this is a video he did on how to sell to Nigerians. I watched this video and I gained a lot from it, because the Nigerian audience is actually a unique kind of audience. There are just some things about us that are very, very funny. For example, like you put a link in an advert and you tell them to click the link, and then somebody is to come into the comment section to come and ask you where is the link, or the popular, very annoying one, I'm interested. Now you cannot ignore these people. You in your mind you'll be like, oh okay, aren't you seeing the link in the post? Or sometimes you're like, can't they see? All those things, logical reasons we want to give. But Nigerian audience is just usually not like that, even educated people. So you still have to go to the comment section and then answer them, okay, check the link in the post, or here is the link, or something and all that. And then the problem is, once that I'm interested begins to go on and on, people will no longer even click the link in the post. You just keep typing I'm interested, and you have to respond to them. As a matter of fact, if you're running an advert and you're not responding to your comments, you are actually killing your conversions. Because if people see that you're not responding to your comment, you're basically saying that you don't have time. You just want to collect their money. So that is very, very important. All right, so let's go to the next thing. Okay, so like I said, they have taken time and pain to know whom exactly the ideal audience is. You ask some people, who exactly are you targeting online, or who is your ideal audience, and they tell you everybody, or they give you one kind of broad general type of demographic. It doesn't work that way. The person that you're targeting has specific desires, they have specific problems, they have specific hopes and dreams that they're trying to fulfill. And so if you're going to get them to be responsive. A responsive audience is an audience that finds your message super relevant. The more relevant your message is to their context, the more responsive they will be to you. If your message is broad type, general, you get some response, but you won't really get a lot of response because your message is not super relevant to the audience that you're dealing with. So you need to have a clear idea of whom exactly it is that you are dealing with online, who your ideal audience should be. Is it women between the age of, is it nursing mothers who don't have time to take care of their kids by themselves? These are just examples of my head. Is it ladies who are looking for opportunities to work from home, to make an extra few, whatever. These are, just have to get clear and you have to be specific. All right, so that's that. So they are also great communicators via content. Adesegun Damasio is a good example of this. This guy just knows how to combine, serious talk about employment related things with jokes. I'll show you an example. Okay, so let me hope. Okay. All right. So while that loads, let's see. Where's that post? Okay. So take a look at this. As things stand, it appears that my name will soon be delisted from the category of those who can afford ice cream. Now this is super funny, because if you observe it closely, you'd realize that it's quite pricey for an item that has zero regurgitation value. Even worse when you have a big belly, because in that case you'll need to load it with toppings which further drive up your invoice. If you go through Damasio's page, he makes the work life look very fun, because he always finds a way to he has naughty sides too, by the way. We always find a way to combine serious talk with comical anecdotes and commentaries and all that just makes the whole thing a reading pleasure. Now you can see the number of comments he had on this. Reactions 156. Maybe we should look at some of his other posts. This is 124 and a couple of other examples, 190 and all that. So that's it. Okay, so let's go back. Okay, so they know how to create effective content that gets their audience to respond. So whether it's you're trying to educate your audience, or whether you're trying to inspire them, or whether you're entertaining them, or whether you are causing them to want to introspect, like really think deep about whatever it is they are doing. And every influential person knows the kind of content, the different kind of content that are available and what they do, and they know how to use them. Okay, so you're of course later you might learn about the different kind of categories of contents that we have and which one works for what situation and all that and everything, because your communication is where everything eventually lands. If your audience is going to be super responsive, it's your content, it's what you put out there that is actually going to determine whether you build that respect over the respectful figure or not. Okay, so that's that. And then lastly, they have a planned out strategic communication schedule. Many of us are guilty of this. I also used to be guilty of this, but eventually I actually found out that it makes more sense and it's actually easier to actually have a communication schedule pre-planned out ahead of time than you waking up and then trying to think of what to post for the day. That's actually stressful. But if you sit down at the beginning of the week or at the end of 1 week to plan out what your content is going to be for the next 1 week, you just do all those things within a few days or a few hours, and for the remaining week, you are already free to do other things with your time. All you just need to do is post your stuff whenever it is they need to go up and then respond to comments, rather than having to and even when you wake up and you're trying to think of what you post, you don't have a strategic effective long-term effect, because now there is no thought, there is no pattern in what you're trying to do, and that could affect what you're trying to do online. And of course, when you also don't think about your content early enough, you wouldn't really consider whether you are being focused on what you're doing or not. So they always have this. Olumide is a very good example, very good example of this. I'll show you one of his content. Okay, so take a look at this. When you get to his page, his last post as of February. Now Look at this. And he uses his pictures a lot. Look at the reactions. 1.8k, 522 comments. 1.8k. That's what he got. Alright. Then you look at this. 197, which is pretty decent. And then see this 670 reactions. He uses his pictures a lot. He uses his pictures a lot in his posts, and because that's for personal branding and all that stuff. Every of Olumide's content is deliberate and is pre-planned. So he just, in fact, he was the first person I learned this concept of actually having your content pre-planned out from. So that's a takeaway for you to take from here. They always have their content plan, and you just wake up and then you're just posting something online. All right, so are you ready to build your social influence? Are you ready to start the journey? Now that you know why you must begin to do this, are you actually ready to get started? Okay, so, but of course, if you're going to do this, just like if you want to build a house, you definitely will need the foundations, you need the frameworks to build with. You need the foundations and you're going to need the frameworks. So you need to know what the bases are, what the foundational thought processes should be, and then, okay, what are the things you're going to be doing? How are you going to structure your content? How are you going to do A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H to get to the end that you desire in mind? Now that I'm beginning to take my social space very seriously, there are two resources that I laid my hands on that I bought, and that are helping me to get to where I want to go gradually. Now I'm being deliberate. So now I'm also going to be taking, some courses on certain platforms specifically for that platform. So I'll be going for some coachings on Instagram, maybe growth very soon and all that. But the ones I'm actually starting with, because these are the ones that are the most essential to actually have in hand, are here. So the first one I want to talk about is building a social empire. Incidentally, by Olumide Glovio. That's why you've seen his face all over the place. I bought this book 2 years ago, and I didn't do much with it. I just read it and that was it. Now I am regretting that I didn't do anything with what I bought 2 years ago, because if I had, I wouldn't have had the issues that I had when I started getting trained in internet marketing, and then the time to run ads came and I could not run ads because I didn't have enough money. So even if I didn't have enough money, I could at least have leveraged on my wide organic audience that I have built over time with the things that I'm teaching you in this video to get that result. So this is the first one you must have, because you must understand the thought processes and the practices, the strategy that goes behind doing this, building a social audience. All right, so of course, I don't need to. He's followed by 17,000 plus people on Facebook. He's a certified digital media communications expert. He's also a PR expert, and he's a brand ambassador, and these are the brands he's worked with. And I'm showing you all those things to know that I am not telling you go meet someone who doesn't have concepts that have been tested, or any such things like that. Okay, so that's that about Olumide. Then the second resource that I'm recommending, I bought this immediately it came out because it's just so connected with me. Content creation is one thing that scares a lot of people. When they hear content creation, it's almost like you are asking them to come and build a rocket, and it doesn't have to be that way. In fact, it is not. And now what this bundle did was to give you a template for everything, every damn single thing you're going to need about content creation. The calendars, content creation, of course, the foundations of content creation, checklist, templates, everything. 15 resources in all. And I was like, wow, this is good. I could just basically take this and then, develop my content around it, and then I'm done. And then I move to the next thing. So this is going to really make your life easier because it's going to give you structure. So now you don't need to, okay, now I know about content creation, so how do I do it? Because starting is usually the hard thing. But with this, you can simply take a content idea from somewhere and develop what you need to do quickly around it, set your content calendar up, and off you go. You're good. All right. So that's that. So this bundle was designed by my very good friend, Angela Komolafe. She's digital marketer. Digital marketer is one of the biggest digital marketing training platforms in the world. She's certified in content marketing strategy, She's the creator of the content creation bundle, like I mentioned earlier, and she's a process copywriter and a content machine. So if there's anybody I trust, initially when I first got across to her back then, I wasn't really, because I didn't know how much then, I didn't really think much of her until I began to see her content on Facebook back to back. And I was like, wow. And I paid her more attention. And when she came up with this bundle, I knew I had to buy it immediately. I was one of the very lucky set of people who got that the cheapest testing price back then. All right, so that's that. So we've come to the end of this video. Now you know the 5 reasons why you have to do what you have to do. If you want to be more powerful, if you want to get more sales online, if you want to be more visible to powerful people, if you want to have more ambassadorial opportunities on your hand, if you want brands to approach you, or you want to help more people who are suffering, or you want to have it in the case of those days when rainy days come, when things that you didn't expect happen either to you or to someone else, and you need to get out of that situation fast. I've been in situations like this, and it was my audience online that saved me at that time. If I didn't know anybody, or if I was only minding my business online like most people think it's right to do, then you can imagine what would have happened. And this is another reason, someday, because you never know when injustice will come knocking on your door. Okay, so that's that. We've come to the end of this video. Now, if you're ready to take action on everything you've seen so far, and I see absolutely no reason why you shouldn't, but of course I have not given you the details of the contents of this guides. I've only just scratched the surface and all that. There will be a link either above or below this video. It's either a link or a button, depending on which platform you're seeing this video. You can be seeing it on YouTube or on my webpage or on Facebook. Click the link or click the button that is attached to the video and go check out these resources. I also have a bonus that I am attaching for those who take early action. If you think that your dream is important enough for you to actually start working on quickly, there's a 10,000 naira bonus that I'm giving to those who invest in these 2 bundles and get them as soon as possible. All right, so that's that. Do have a pleasant day. Bye.